Afternoon, you guys. As always, I'm beginning this video with high anxiety. Um, my anxiety, I think, is mostly about, my appearance and how I'm perceived and how I'm judged. Um, and what was I about to say? Anxiety. My anxiety is usually about my appearance and how I'm perceived. Right, right. And so I think maybe that's what these videos maybe are, is to some degree an exercise in honesty and maybe an exercise in vulnerability. Um, I'm very scared to look. I feel as though I'm very scared to look the world in the eye. And this is kind of me doing that. I don't know what exactly it's going to do for me. But like I said, I'm kind of doing this to help me more than anything. Because I'm under a lot of stress. And I don't have any support to help me with that stress, help me manage that stress. And I've seen other people do this as well, so, why not me? And I've said that quite a few times already. I'm not exactly sure what I wanted this video to be. I had some ideas about, again, what a good video would be. A video about honesty, where I made a post about insults and how it feels to live a life where you're constantly insulted. Those were a couple of things on my mind. But again, those weren't really following the format of how I do these videos. Those were just kind of things that were personally bothering me when I made those posts. It's just so hard for things to flow together in a very natural feeling kind of way for me when I'm thinking and speaking, especially under such stress and strain. Also, again, I just want to say I've worn this, like this black shirt, like quite a few times in other videos. The reality is that I actually own quite a few duplicates because I really like Henleys lately. Something about the long sleeves just kind of protects me, and something about how it's light. It makes me feel free, but it's still soft and warm, so it makes me feel comforted. Protects me. Sometimes when I say something in a video, it doesn't chain link in a very obvious way to what I say later. But generally, the language that I use while speaking within one session sort of is all related to each other. Usually when I make these videos, I'm in a very particular mindset and a very particular mood. So perhaps maybe if some smart person out there could do the heavy lifting for me, you could make the connections. I just know that that has a lot to do with maybe some of the things that I want to share today. Is that this Henley protects me, and an exercise in honesty, and an exercise in, I don't know, bravery and looking the world in the eye. Maybe those are thematic. Maybe that is some thematic language that might bear some relevance to some of the things that I want to talk about. And again, I'm not very good at chain linking or structuring what I want to talk about because my mental health is so fragmented. But anybody's would be under such intense fear, right? So it's not just, I'm not just a fucking nutcase. So let's just start this video off the way that I typically prefer to now, is my vlog. Like, how am I doing? How is my day going? So today, it's about 5 o'clock. Today, I woke up, I don't remember when I woke up today. I think I may have woke up at 11, but I laid in bed all day. No, that's not true. I may have woke up, I think actually I woke up really early this morning, but I laid in bed all morning because I was browsing on my phone a lot. I was, doing a lot of watching videos and, videos of interest. I watch videos of interest. I don't just watch videos that, I don't just watch videos that are like slop, that are just like TikTok, clickbait. I watch videos of interest, like I watched this video about women's prisons. It was a women's prisons episode. I think it's like Life Behind Women's Prisons or something. It had that that British black guy with very polite. That was interesting. Might touch on that more later. So I scrolled in bed for a long time. I think I messaged some of my long distance friends, who I try to keep in touch with. Keep my spirits up and stuff. Keep me feeling connected, because I feel very disconnected. The way that I just feel stuck in my room, unable to go outside because I'm so scared to. Because it's just, socially, it's just so chaotic and volatile in my local area, which I've mentioned before. And so it just, being such a recluse can make me feel very socially isolated, but at the same time, I'm doing it for a good reason, because I have to protect my energy reserves because I have so little. I've mentioned that before in other videos. So, and I spoke to some friends, reached out to some resources in some safe cities. I don't think I want to say exactly where, because it might narrow it down too much. I did maybe a little writing. I shared some stuff. I just about paid off all my credit cards because someone sent me some GoFundMe money, which really, really, really helped me. I had a little bit of credit card debt, and that's why I wasn't able to really get my car registered and smogged and repaired and everything. Because I've been paying bills with credit cards, and I sold some stuff on my eBay account. Um, so whoever sent me that money, again, that money's not going to go towards, rehousing me. And it's not going to go towards me buying a better vehicle than my current car, but it did go towards making my situation much better and much less stressful. So thank you for that. Because now if anyone does decide to send me more money, it should go towards a potential rehousing. And I might have to just stick with my current van as long as it's smogged and it's registered and insured. It would be good to have it in case I move, in case I have some kind of emergency, some kind of extreme conflict with my living situation. Not looking right at you really helps me think. But that's not because I'm of poor character. That it just helps me think. I'm sorry. I think people tend to view people who don't look you directly in the eye as being of poor character, even though that's not true necessarily. I didn't exercise today. Oh, I did. That's what I did. Wow, I have such a poor memory. Okay, yeah, so then I got up, and I actually exercised on my treadmill, and I did the usual. I burned like 1,000 calories. But then I actually did a thing. I don't know if I did this yesterday. I think I did it yet today. My memory is so bad. I'm just gonna assume I did this today. So I burned my 1,000 calories that I usually prefer to burn every time I get on the treadmill, and then I basically took a break. And then I got back on after the break, and I literally burned another 1,000 calories. Um, I've only burned like 2,000 calories on that thing in like a few instances. Um, I first did it just to prove to myself that I could do it. And then after I did it, I was like, yeah, well, that's just a fluke. Can you do it again? And then I did it again. And so now I'm like, all right, I could do it. And, but I did that in one whole go, right? I was on the treadmill for 3 hours to burn 2,000 calories at a time. This time today, I burned 1,000 calories and then I took a break and then I got back on. I burned another 1,000 calories. I don't know. I guess I just had like a bunch of aggression or some pent up frustration. It really helped that I discovered some new music lately. So that's really good. I recently discovered like a few new songs that really helped motivate me. Because I found some new songs, it just felt like they see me. Some of the lyrics and some of the tunes, it feels like they see me. Um, just like coincidence sometimes that those things happen. So I have my whole music playlist like on my channel if you want to actually check it out or something. Um, and that music playlist is old. That music playlist is old, bro. Like that, there's some old shit in there. Um, I was building that music playlist, I think, when Lil Peep was still alive. Um, uh, anyway, I hate my smile. I hate this shit. Like, as soon as I smile, so I feel like when I smile, my entire, like, the illusion of beauty just fucking falls apart. You know what I mean? Because it's like, if I keep my face, like, perfectly, like, just perfectly, like, flat or whatever, it looks so smooth and so soft, and all the features just kind of like make sense. But it's like as soon as I smile, it's like, you got this, and then this like dimple, and then it makes like, my slight like eye asymmetry like more obvious. Although people have told me that, it's not that obvious, but it's obvious to me. Um, I think I'm just gonna jump right into it. I think I want to read you some of my journal entries lately because it might tell you some of the things that I've been thinking about. And like I said, I don't know how to chain link them exactly, so maybe someone can help me understand exactly what I'm going through, what I'm feeling and thinking, and how they all kind of connect. And I'll try not to get too ranty. And again, I'm gonna try to keep it quiet so that maybe I don't have to rely on, um, my flashcards so intensely, because it really does bother me when I have to rely on those things, in order to, um, just to talk. Like, that really bothers me. But, like, I gotta cover my bases. Um, everyone should understand that. All right, let's just open up my, not really sure exactly. Well, let's just scroll back up because it has been, a whole weekend since I made a video. Um, I've just been taking a break because I've been kind of exhausted, and I just started to feel like, I'm just kind of ranting on the internet, and it's not really structured. And there's a lot of people out there right now on YouTube that are making highly structured videos, and I swear to God, I don't have the energy for that shit. They're making video essays right now. Here's 50,000 reasons why Trump is just like Homelander, or gender diversity in ancient Mesopotamia, um, or my life as a former convicted pedophile or something. Like, they're just so structured. I don't have any of that. I could do that maybe some. I'm not doing that now. But it doesn't matter. I don't live unapologetically. That's actually in here somewhere. Right, that's too far. Sometimes I'm actually scared to share some of my journal entries because, excuse me, I don't want to. Sometimes I forget that this is for me and it's not for anybody else. And so sometimes I'm actually kind of scared to share what I really think and really what I really feel. Just, it's like, as soon as you start getting support, you get like one donation, all of a sudden you're like, okay, now how can I hold on to it? How can I hold on to it? I'm tired of living that way. Tired of living that way. So fearful. Um, I had this thought. This is a dumb thought. Maybe it's not super important. Again, don't hold me to it because I really want to step away from political stuff. I just had this thought. Okay, just like wherever you stand on politics or whatever, maybe this is like an entertaining thought to listen to. Um, I just know that like in a lot of Roman history, Roman emperors, you know, um, Roman emperors and generals and rulers have often met their demise by the warrior class, the kshatriya, as they call it. Obviously Julius Caesar was killed by his senators, but they were his own friends. But I just noticed that, like, throughout Roman history, a lot of emperors and rulers and dictators and whatnot, they were actually betrayed and taken out by the warrior class. And it just kind of got me thinking about like Roman culture and like modern American culture and like Trump, which is very, I think my hair is just too short. I think when it grows, it won't be bothering me all the time. It's like as soon as I touch it, I fuck it up. And it's like if it was just long enough, that wouldn't be happening. You know what I mean? God damn it. I'm sorry. I just like it I didn't mean to. I just touched it out of like habit while I was like talking. Like I guess I'm just like ditzy like that. I just started touching my hair and then like, oh shit, I fucked it up because it's like this weird Karen-esque like pixie witch thing where it's like if you one little hair is out of place, it's obvious. Um okay. Um you know, Trump obviously is, he appeals to the warrior class, which is like a class of um people, mostly men, who basically self-abandon, and that's part of their warrior culture is self-abandonment, sort of like, like their emotions. Maybe you don't call it self-abandonment, but um it does get toxic like that, right? Where basically they betray themselves and they make that like a virtue, and they're very like they're kind of warped and twisted, with their whole conqueror mindset. I mean, historically, right, the warrior class inherits a lot of spiritual signaling and cultural mythology from like Proto-Indo-European like sky father shit, right? And I think we've inherited a lot of that, right? Um, and so you could, to some degree, just say that it's kind of like self-abandonment, maybe taken to the extreme, because I believe in warriors. I believe in a warrior class. I just, obviously, these are the people sometimes who, they act tough, but they're not, right? And they posture for toughness. That's very normal in male um, competition and whatnot. Anyway, but it just kind of made me think, because it's like a lot of Trump's support, um, he's been kind of losing a lot of merit lately. And a lot of his support is kind of just coming from like cultural support, like the personal moral sentiment. Like it's like his lifestyle, it seems to be very appealing for people because he's kind of losing a lot of merit, I think, lately. And we see a lot, the warrior class, not Pete Hegseth, because I don't think he's a warrior, because he sends warriors to die. He's not a warrior himself. Um, but well, I mean, I guess, but he is part of the warrior class because they claim him, right? They claim him, so he's in that social class. And I just keep thinking, like when he when the whole Iran war started like kind of turning on him for a minute there, just like a little bit ago, and he started like trying to like offload responsibility on like Pete a little bit. It was like, Pete, I think that was your idea, right? It is, it just kind of reminded me of that, the way that like, dictators, they often, they give like in at least in Roman history, right? They give a lot of benefits to the warrior class. Like, here are the benefits of serving me, and they sell that. They sell that. That's their sales pitch. Here's the benefits of serving me as your leader. And they continue to give them whatever things that the warrior class wants, and they kind of, and I sometimes we see it in history where they spoil the warrior class, where basically they allow them to take slaves, they allow them to take slaves, especially underage in history, slaves, um, and just do whatever they want, because they know the warrior class, they're basically spoiling them and spoiling them rotten because they know the warrior class is not necessarily bred of a they're of a less reflective, introspective breed. And so they know that, right? So they take advantage of that. And they continue to spoil them rotten, the warrior class. Um, but it always backfires throughout history, right? Because then when they just continue to, they just think, okay, I'm good. Like the dictators always think like, okay, I'm safe as long as I have my warriors, as long as I have my warrior class. And so they spoil the warrior class over and over again. And the warrior class now indulges in these very sick, selfish, self-serving behaviors to the point that the warrior class eventually just goes, I don't think we need this fucking guy. We should kill him and take what he has for ourselves. And it seems to be like a fucking cycle. Seems to be like a fucking cycle. I actually thought of that because I was watching some manosphere video about this guy talking about women and how when you spoil them they become more entitled or something. Manosphere stuff. And I just kind of thought to myself like, I think I know somebody. That was not meant to be that long of a thought. I'm already at 26 minutes. I'm so fucking sorry. Um, Maybe I should cut this video and then make a new video? Maybe. I don't know. Let's move on to my next journal entry because I have a lot to go over, okay, you guys? Um, Little girls should not have their ears touched by vulgarity and brutality. We can't even protect the ears of children anymore. This is something that I've been thinking of recently, which is that, the level of harassment that I have endured um, in my local community and at my old workplace. Um, I was just thinking to myself, like, it hurts my ears. Like, it feels like an assault on my ears. Because I consider myself to be a very sensitive, I'm a very sensitive and caring female. And so it, it just got me thinking that it seems to give me it really strains my mental health just to hear insults directed at me sometimes. And it got me thinking just about what kind of world are we growing up in are we in right now? Because for me, as a very sensitive female who is hurt very much by insults, um I'm an adult though. I'm almost 29 soon, and it just got me thinking, what kind of world are we growing up in now where I just feel, maybe it's incorrect, but I just generally feel like maybe the ears of little girls are fundamentally different from the ears of little boys. And it just feels like we're living in this generation now where it's we can't even protect little girls. I mean, obviously, the things that they hear on the news and the vulgarity, I mean, that's on the news. You can protect them from the news, but it just kind of got me thinking the way that we throw around words so much now, and I don't know, I just got worried. I just got worried because I started thinking of what if there is, a little girl exactly like me, and she's grown up right now, and she's dealing with what I'm dealing with, or have dealt with, because I stay inside now. Um, that's fucking not cool. Oh, why did I do that? That's not cool. But you know what I mean? But it's different, right? I mean, just swearing is different, but you know, a little girl shouldn't have to, um, hear the words, like hear someone call her, uh, you know, some of these words that I get called, you know. I'm sorry. Just give me a minute. I'm sorry, everyone. Maybe it's just a bad hair day. I just know I really need to grow my hair out and I need to stop doing this like weird short hair posturing that I've been doing my whole life. It's like this weird like sexual signal or something. I was watching like a video that explained that to me. And I need to stop doing it. It's just that's why I have problems with my hair is because it's just so short. But I feel like it protects me, which is something that I'll get into a bit later. Whatever. Okay. Um, oh, I did a lot of posting recently on my YouTube posts area, and so maybe I should read from those. I'll just start from the top. Um, this was if I tell this story, it's gonna be like a very um long story, but maybe I should tell it anyway. Oh, okay. In case I make this into a second video, I should cut this somehow. Let me just get ready for a new new introduction. Okay, so, I was, wait, not ready. Okay, I think I'm ready. I'm so fucking nuts. I'm sorry. Um, okay, so I was, I was having a discussion recently with a, long distance friend of mine over Discord. Um, we decided to play Minecraft together. Um, and I don't think I handled this interaction very well, though I was under a lot of stress at the time, and I apologized to that friend. Though we did have an interesting discussion that I think was interesting. Um, basically, he made, he's someone that has indulged, in the past. It doesn't matter, okay, but he made this little comment when we were opening up Minecraft, um, about when he opened up Minecraft, it said at the bottom of the game it said elevate BIPOC voices. And he expressed some, sort of fatigue at that. He was fatigued by seeing this in his video game. Let me explain. I don't have like word for word like how the discussion went, but it probably would have went really well. So I'm just going to try to tell the story. He was basically sort of fatigued with it, and he was basically saying like, I just saw some PC shit in this, man. Keep why they put this PC shit in this video game. And I was like, what PC shit? And he was like, it said elevate BIPOC voices, you know what I mean? It's like he was getting all flustered with it, and I was like, what's wrong with it? Honest question. I was like, what's wrong with it? And and then he started saying like, it's some fucking political messaging that doesn't belong in a video game or something. He doesn't want see that in his video game or something. Leave Vidya alone. And I was telling him like, what's political about it? Maybe that's a dumb question, but I was like, what's political about it? Because all it says is elevate. I'm not even sure what the word means. Maybe biracial, indigenous, people of color. I don't know if that's what the B stands for. It was like, what's political about it? And he was like, saying, that, and then he was basically saying like, you're sending like there's a political connotation there that there's like a class of people that are oppressed, and so you're sort of criticizing like our country or something, or like you're sort of criticizing some framework of some kind. And I was like, and I basically replied, hold on, I'm sorry. I'm fine. I'm fine. What am I doing? And I basically just replied, I was like, no, because I don't think so. I think that that's something that you do when you read that. If you read elevate BIPOC voices, that's not, I don't feel like that's criticizing anybody, because it didn't say that. It didn't say any of that. And you saying that it says that in some hidden way is you saying that, but it actually physically does not say that. So you are assuming that that's what it says. That's the presumption of what it says. And I told him, I think that's just you. I think that that's just you, that you're taking it as a criticism. And then he said like, he painted this picture for me, like, all right, take some like white kid out in the middle of Ohio, some like 12-year-old white kid out in the middle of Ohio, and he starts playing Minecraft, and he reads that. What is he supposed to do with it? And I was like, he's not supposed to do anything with it if he doesn't want to. He's like, he doesn't even understand what it means. And I was like, fine. If he understands what it means, good, cool, beans. If he doesn't understand what it means, then I don't know, maybe he learned something, or now he Googles it. It doesn't matter. Then just don't, he doesn't have to, he's not expected, no one is expecting anyone to do anything with it. And they were basically saying that like, it's like this, and then he said it's like a social cause, and it doesn't even do anything for like BIPOC people or something. He doesn't even do anything for people. Like, what does that even do? Like, why even put that in there? And I was like, well, and I wanted to say like, well, fair enough. If you want to have a conversation about, the authenticity of this, you said you used the word virtue signaling. I'm like, fair enough. You want to have a conversation about the authenticity of some of this moral posturing that we see sometimes done by corporations and companies. And, how authentic is it? Do they really stand by it? Would they abandon it if pushed? How, like, is it a weak support, strong? That is yeah, that's a conversation. But I pushed back on him even saying that, because from my view, I actually was like, no, I think that does a lot, actually. I mean, it doesn't do a lot, but it does something, because I just put myself in someone else's position where, if I just know that when I've gone through things that are extremely difficult and I'm under extreme stress and their resources are not available for me, which is exactly the case right now, right? And, that's been the case like so much of my life. Um, on occasion, it has been actually very, um, like I appreciated just seeing some kind of motivational messaging, like, you can do it. You're almost there. You're stronger than you think you are. I know it fatigues people, but you know, um, I don't know, like, I just basically said, like, from my personal experience, sometimes that kind of simple messaging, it's small, and no, it's not solving my problem, but sometimes it has helped. It has kept me going and whatnot. So I think it does something, actually, Um, and then he said some shit about, like, he doesn't want to see it. And I was like, basically, like, saying, you just kind of sound like these boomers who, when they see like a gay couple kissing in public, they're like, I don't want to see it. I don't want to see it. It's like, if it's that, it's that bad. If it's that terrible for you to look at, then just avert your eyes. You know what I mean? Like, don't go outside then if it's that bad to look at. Because if you're having that intense of a reaction, it's like no one's doing anything to you. Um, and then he said something about, like, it damages people because it reinforces a victim mentality. Um, and that's bad. And I pushed back on that too. I said, you know what? No. No. I think that there is nothing wrong with this so-called victim mentality. I said, I don't even think that that's real. I don't believe in that. I don't believe in a victim mentality. Um, being a victim is just a fact. It's morally neutral. In this life, as I know way too well, you will be a victim. Things will happen to you. And you will be a victim. And it's fine. You're not weak for being a victim. Like, it just is what it is. You're a victim. Like, there's no such thing as a victim mentality. Just be a victim. Like, it's fine. All right, if you feel upset, just be upset. Like, he said, like, and he used these, like, this awful condemning language, like coddling. Um, coddling them, and how that doesn't help victims, and that people need, like, harsh truth. And I basically told him, like, no, I think, let me read this. I basically said, like, no, you know what, this sounds like it's about you. This has nothing to do with harsh truth. This has everything to do with this has nothing to do with harsh truth. This has everything to do with your inability to You just don't believe in this, okay? Like, this is actually normal, is basically what I was saying, is that, um, I was basically saying, like, maybe you're just an asshole. Okay, maybe you're just an asshole and you want the whole world to know how big and bad of an asshole you are. And, and he started saying, um, he's, started saying about how he's been through so much and no one's ever helped him when he's gone through things. But, he started boasting basically like no one ever helped me. You know what I mean? Like, cause that's how you do it. Do it the way I did. You don't get, and I basically pointed out like, and you're also unhappy as shit, like, but, I cut him off and I basically said, well, good for you. It doesn't even matter if he was happy or unhappy. Here's the point. He was like, people need to learn harsh truth like me. They need to just bootstrap it. He sounded like a boomer, or something. They need to not let this victim mentality hold them back and not be coddled. What a terrible word. I just literally told him, good for you. Good for you then. Good for you. You went through difficult things. You survived all of it. And you survived all of it alone without any support or love or compassion. And you didn't need any solidarity or like whatever. Good for you. Okay? Good for you, MAGA. Like, but other people who are not you, we like that stuff. We need these things. We need, when we're struggling with something, we connect. We connect with people. We share each other's burdens. We tell people what we're going through. When we struggle, we connect with people who empathize and love and understand our situation because it helps us get through. Okay, that's a normal thing. And I said there's nothing wrong with being weak. Because he said it's weak. I said, yeah. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. That's my view. That's my personal view. That's my personal belief. There's nothing wrong with being weak. Because you will be weak whether you like it or not. It's how this world works. You will be weak. Okay? You will be a victim. It's morally neutral. The universe does not care. There's nothing wrong with being weak. It's just a fact. There's nothing wrong with being weak. There's nothing wrong with being strong. Weak, strong, happy, sad, successful, failure. It's all human. It's all human. Weakness is important. It's part of love. It's where we connect. It's where we, fit together. I'm weak here. You're strong there. It's natural. When my friend and I are having something that we're going through, I go to that friend and I say, look, this is what I'm going through. And I listen to that friend and I support that friend. And then he says, well, does it have to be a fucking social cause? And I said, yeah, maybe. Maybe. I mean, if it's a widespread social fucking issue, maybe. Right? Maybe. And my question was, why do you need to take that away from someone so bad? Like, why do you need to take away someone's victimness status, like, away from them? Why do you need to take away their feelings? Like, why do you need to take it away from someone so bad? And I just said that I don't think this has anything to do with politics. This is not politics. I just told him, like, I just think that you're kind of butthurt. And you want the world to know how strong and cold and tough you are. And you want to take other people's feelings away from them so that they have to be like you. And here's the thing is you're justifying it after the fact. All this stuff about how it keeps people down, or it's just a communist Jewish ploy, those are manipulative alterations of the facts and the truth, right? Those are post-belief justifications. That is not a reasoning that led them to that belief. They held this belief to begin with, and then the reasoning is retrofitted to support that belief. And that's what this all comes from, is that I just told him, like, you're an asshole, but you're justifying by saying it has something to do with truth or harsh truth. But no, it has to do with your harsh truth. You are the only harshness here. You are the harshness. You know, and I told him, like, if something's bothering you that bad and you want to take center stage and you feel put out and you don't like this, then you can make your own social cause. No one's stopping you. You know, you can go spread awareness for your own cause, you know, but like stop acting like this has anything to do with anything but you. And, you know, we started this earlier in this conversation. I basically explained to him that, you know, obviously, you know, rhetoric is rhetoric, right? Political rhetoric is political rhetoric no matter what side it's on, you know, because I've been very poorly treated by people on the left just as much as people on the right. But it was just my thought that, you know, but I can kind of tolerate or stomach left-wing rhetoric significantly more than right-wing rhetoric, simply because one is about helping people, right? Elevate BIPOC voices, and the other is about accusing. You know, I understand that it's rhetoric. Sorry, my voice is kind of like, you know, shot because I don't use it. I was basically saying, like, I understand that it's rhetoric, but I can tolerate one more than the other. You know, and the only time that, like, the people on the right ever promote some group of people, like, it's often just out of, like, a petty spite. It's like, oh yeah, we can have our own social justice too. You know, you have a problem with the way we do things, like, yeah, and then they slap some new label, you know, when they really don't actually care. You know, it's always some kind of counter tactic, you know, to basically mimic the left. And then they say that, like, you know, the left can't meme or something, but it's like the right takes all their social cues and strategies from the left. So I don't know, maybe. I just told him, like, just stop telling other people that their pain isn't real and that they can't have their feelings, and then try to convince me that that's some kind of righteous way of being, because it's not. It's not cool to be cold. It's not fucking dominant to be a dick. I love my alliterations, you know, but it's just like, it's not fucking righteous. Okay, it's not. You know, this conversation with this friend, though, was a bit more heated than the way I told it. But, you know, it was my fault, and I apologized to that friend, because I just was under a lot of stress, and I just told him that I'm just tired of this negative energy, because I told him I don't even really care. You know, I don't even know what the B stands for. You know, I was like, I don't even know what the B stands for. I just know that this negative energy of trying to take people's feelings away from them is exhausting. And it's like I'm drowning in it all the time, and I hate it. And I was already under a lot of stress. But anyway, we worked it out. But I did think that it was a very interesting conversation to share with the world, the viewers. I'm sorry. Just fixing my disgusting hair. Okay. This video is actually about an hour long. So I think I'm gonna cut this video here, and then I'm going to start recording a new video. Maybe. Would that be smart? Because this was supposed to be a daily vlog. And so if the next video starts off with me just reading some journal entry, and fuck it, what's wrong with that? Like, I can do that, right? I can do whatever the fuck I want. It's my channel. All right. So I guess so this video, I guess I'll title it Thoughts About Rome, the Warrior Class, and Social Justice. Maybe that's a good title. All right. See you in the next video. I'm gonna upload this as its own video, but it will be probably considered a daily vlog. Okay. Oh, sorry, that's my desktop mouse.